We have breaking news this evening out of the Scottish Championship, with Queen of the South set to announce their new manager, with former Barlatown and H&W Welders man Aussie Villain expected to be confirmed. So let's cross live now to Her Royal Majesty's Royal Hall for the announcement.
Hello, we peasants. Hello. I am the Queen of the South of Scotland, and I have decided who me next manager of me team is going to be. It will be the wee Aussie Villain. Now, I will be expecting him to deliver the Champions League, and if he can, it will be off with his wee head at me Royal Galatine. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome to Queen of the South, episode 1 of The Impossible Dream, as we look to lead this team to Champions League glory. It's a long way away yet, but hopefully by the end of Football Manager 22, we will have managed to do just that. Now, of course, for the sake of my head and my life, of course. Now, if you are new to the channel, just discovering us, make sure that you are subscribing, ring the bell to not upload new videos, and of course, if you enjoy this, hit thumbs up, leave as many comments as you can. The first video, it helps the algorithm find it for new people, so that is greatly appreciated. And there's another thing I was going to say there, and I forget what it is now, so we'll just swiftly move on. Now, this is Queen of the South, a little bit different to a normally when I do an Impossible Dream, there's sort of two criteria. One is it's a league that has never won before, never won the Champions League. And second is that we start at least a semi-professional club. Now, obviously, there has been a Scottish winner. Celtic won it back in, was it the 50s or the 60s? But we're gonna gloss over that for now. And they are also a professional team. That the reason I wanted to play as Queen of the South, as you can see there, they're in Dumfries, which is in the Scottish borders. And all those years ago, when my family, or part of my family, moved to Australia voluntarily, I will swiftly add, this is basically the part of Scotland they were from. A little bit further towards Edinburgh. It was, I forget what it was called now. Forget what it was called, but anyway, this is basically the nearest team. It's in very much the same county that they were from. So that is why I've chosen Queen of the South. I've always wanted to manage them, just basically because of that. So we can see here some club legends, some club icons, and some favoured personnel. I am going to admit I am not an expert on Queen of the South. I have heard of a few of these guys. Stephen Dobbie, I think he was at West Brom, wasn't he? Am I making that up? There's a few names there that I may or may not recognise. I don't know if that's Alan Ball, like Southampton. Was it Southampton, Alan Ball, or Man City? Anyway, there's some names there I recognise. Ian Russell I recognise as well. But yeah, I'm not going to pretend I know exactly who they are. Let's have a quick look at the club here that we've joined. So media prediction is for us 7th this season. We're a 2-star reputation club. We've got a fairly professional squad personality. Our captain is a great Wally Gibson. What a great what a great Scottish name. Terrible Scottish accent, but great Scottish name. Our key player is Lee Connolly. Let's have a look at this while we're here. He is a number 10 / striker. He's probably a number 10, isn't he? And looks fairly decent. Only 21 years old as well, so a little bit of room to improve. So that's promising. At least we've got one potential star at the club. And the hot prospect is Roberto Ntiti. And yeah, we'll go with that. 20 years old, and yeah, I mean, there's potential there, but he's 20. How much of that potential is he going to reach? I guess time will tell. And yeah, well, time will tell, won't it? So that is that. Facilities. Let's have a look at what we've got to work with here. It's a synthetic pitch, which I don't love, but at least we won't have to relay it. Pitch condition is obviously perfect. We've got good training facilities. We've got average youth facilities. We've got average academy coaching and fairly basic youth recruitment. So that will all need to be improved over time, but that's not a problem. Do we have any affiliate clubs? We do, but it's one where we send players away, not one where we get players. So look for senior affiliate. It's going to be our first thing I think we want to do here, isn't it? Sign good players without the cost of wages. We'd rather the club didn't do that. I'll ensure that we've got a balanced squad, we're not overly reliant, and the request has been granted. Well, there we go. That's a good start, isn't it? So hopefully we'll get Rangers or Celtic as an affiliate in. And an overview of the club history. They've won the Championship once, the Scottish League One twice, and the Tunnocks Caramel Wafer Cup. It's a favourite of ours, isn't it, on the Impossible Dream? They've won that twice as well. So that is that. Now, they have had one European campaign, I believe. Did they have a European? I thought they had a European campaign when I was doing a bit of look into the club. It was because they made the final of the Scottish Cup in 2000. Yeah, so I think they did play in Europe, but they didn't get past the first round. So there's no need to there's no real history there. If we have a look at the club records, Stephen Dobbie is the record goal scorer. Alan Ball is the record appearance maker. So the fact that he played over almost 600 games, I'm going to say that's not the Alan Ball that I'm thinking of. I think that Alan Ball only has one L in his name anyway. So they're the two stars. Now, is Dobbie still around? No, he's not. Well, he is, but he's not with us. So that record is not going to be added to. So that is everything there. Let's have a look at the club vision. What are we expected to do here? So play attacking football, play possession football, and develop players using the youth system. Well, we're going to need to have that improved, aren't we, if we're going to rely on the youth system, but we will try and do that anyway. Work within a wage budget, which I think is the case at pretty much every club except Barcelona. Mid-table this season, they want to reach the fourth round of the Scottish Cup, be competitive in the League Cup, and my contract expires at the end of this current season. So hopefully it's going to be extended, or it's going to be a very short impossible dream. Work towards championship top half, record a championship top half finish, reach the playoffs, and continue to challenge for the playoffs. So the next 5 years, the board aren't expecting us to get promoted, just be sort of in the mix for the playoffs. So that does appear to be something that's not too challenging, is it? I'd like to think we'll be promoted within a couple of seasons, if not the first one. Finances, we've got 165 grand in the bank. We've got a transfer budget of 30, but we get 30 grand, but we get 100% of any sales that we make. And we've got about £500 in the wage budget to spend as well. So that is, we're tight there, aren't we? That's going to be difficult. We'll need to get, if we're going to expand on the squad and improve the squad initially, this first window, we're going to need to, I think, do loans, aren't we? Unless we can get some high wage earners out. But anyway, that will be for me to do and for you to see next episode. Now let's have a quick look at is there any news in the inbox here? Some players whose contracts are expiring. So it looks like the club has already offered two guys extensions. Cooper looks useful, doesn't he? And DeBayo, so two left backs. He doesn't look as useful, and he's on 400. Anyway, we'll leave that for now. We'll wait and see what we have. So there's a couple of higher potential guys here. We might need to look at getting them. We'll go and have a look at all the players in a second here. So some breakthrough prospects. So there's some good players that we're going to need to get contracts offered to ASAP, aren't we? That haven't had them offered to them as of yet. So we'll look to do that. We've already seen that. So we'll just accept that current vision. Queen of the South injury update. So there's no serious injury, though Josh Todd does have a dislocated shoulder issue, it looks like. Search for a senior affiliate is happening. Let's go have a look at this squad of ours. Now, as I always like to do, let's go and have a look at the youth team and see what we have. Search by potential. So there is some potential down here. We've got a central defender in Chima, I guess you would pronounce that. He's a no-nonsense defender, but he isn't too bad, is he? So that is someone that could possibly come up into the first team. We've got a goalkeeper, Charlie Cowie. He is a little bit raw, but potential is there. We've got another centre-back, Owen Hunter. He needs some work, doesn't he? He's only 16, so there's time for him anyway. Andy Oram is relatively high potential, a central midfielder. First touch passing is there, so there's might be a future for him. And we've got a right back out on loan right now to Dalbeattie Star, and he can probably stay there for the time being. And then we'll wait and see how these guys develop, obviously. But there's potentially two. We'll see what we've got in the first team here. Now I have had a quick look just to try and see exactly so I knew roughly what we were dealing with here. Let's go and have a look at these guys on reports, and we can see. So Ray, we've got two goalkeepers that are relatively highly potentialed. Whether or not, well, this guy's on loan, isn't he, from Middlesbrough? So we'll see what happens there. Aidan Moffat, was he at 19? So never mind. Might have been anyway. There's a guy that played for Columbus Crew that was Scottish that I saw play, but that was years ago. He's probably retired by now. So that's the left back. We've got Max Johnston, a right back on loan from Motherwell, who looks as if he's decent for us. Centre backs, we don't really have many. We've got two, so we're going to have to call Chima up, aren't we? We've got the youngster that we saw, and then Paul McKay, who is not the best tackler. He looks like more of a midfielder, maybe, doesn't he? Left wing, we've got Alex Cooper, who we saw. Willie Gupson, he is a player coach. He is physically not much, but mentally and technically he's not the worst, so he could be useful for us. Ewan East is a striker.
slash left winger, it looks like. And yeah, I'm not sure about him. Ben Little on loan from Bristol Rovers is decent enough. Now, Harry Cochrane, now we had him a few years ago when I had a heart save. We had him, and he was a very, very good player. I'm surprised and disappointed for him to see him not only at Queen of the South, but as a fringe player as well. He obviously has, I'm not sure what's happened to him in real life. If you know, let me know in the comments. Is it injury? Is it just FM got him a little bit wrong, maybe? That's happened before, hasn't it? But he is still very high potential, so he could be a big player for us for a number of seasons. Calvin McGrory here. McGrory is a central midfielder who's okay. Aidan Fitzpatrick is a right winger who looks decent enough as a right winger. Cameron Shaw is a right winger. Josh Todd, now he's the guy with the dislocated shoulder, isn't he? Solid enough. An attacking midfielder, not really the best tackler, but solid enough, I would say. Rory Patton is a striker slash winger, it looks like, who could be useful. He's got a couple of decent attributes there. He could have, he will have a part to play this first season. We've got a left winger who is right-footed and also plays central midfield. So, yeah, he's going to be a right winger for us, isn't he? He's not going to play on the left. We've got another right winger. So we've got lots and lots of right-sided players, but no left-sided players. Lee Connell, he's the key player, isn't he? So that's him. We've got Ruben Soares Jr. Now, he can play either side, and he can play as an inverted winger on the right. So he could, therefore, you would hope, play as an out-and-out winger on the left. He doesn't have dribbling or crossing, does he? So the left side of midfield is going to be the issue, isn't it? Alan Roy is decent enough as a striker. We'll see what we get out of him. And Innes Cameron, another one that we had in the Hearts series. And again, he possibly hasn't quite kicked on. He's on loan from Kilmarnock, which is where we signed him from Hearts. He looks like a decent target man, which is how we used him at Hearts. You know, that was FM19, wasn't it? It's a little while ago now, but he's got high potential. So there is a lot of potential in the squad. If we search by potential, there is quite a bit there. So if we can maximize that out, then what we have might even be good enough to get us promoted. Whether it's good enough to get us promoted this season, that is probably debatable, but we're going to need left-sided wingers who are left-footed if we are going to play play with wingers, basically, aren't we? The squad's a little bit quite unbalanced just now. We've only got two left-backs as well, don't we? Cooper and this DeBayo guy. So let's have a look. I wanted to come in and sort of get a tactic, or what I thought could be a tactic that we could use. Right now, I think this is it. We only really have two centre-backs that are first in the first team, so we can only really play with two centre-backs, and we don't have a left-sided winger. So it kind of, I felt like we had to do something like this. So we'll play with, I think, depending what happens in the transfer window between now and our first game, I think Little is halfback, so we kind of will make it three. Get the wing backs getting forward. Central midfield, we do have a few very decent players, and we've got two decent strikers potentially in Innes Cameron and Alan Roy as well. So let me know what you guys think. Unless we can do something in the transfer window, like I say, I think this is how we're going to have to go about things. But time will tell when. Time will tell there. Have a quick look at the staff, and we will see that our coaching team, our assistant manager is Sandy Clark. Let's have a look at old Sandy here. 64 years old, so he's not one for the... Is a he, isn't it? I'm assuming. Sandy is obviously a girl's or a female name as well. I'm assuming it's a male because he's 64. I don't think a 64-year-old woman would have made it back in those days, would they? So, not one for the long term. His contract is probably up at the end of the year, it is, so we'll stick him with for this season, and then we'll probably look to move him on. We've got a non-contract month-to-month on our head of youth development. That may not last. We can look to move him on. And then coaching, we've got a goalkeeping coach who's only part-time, so we'll have to look to move him on and get a full-time coach in. And then the rest of our coaching staff doesn't say too much about us. Wally Gutson. Again, to be fair, the room to grow for him, so he's not the worst. What if we send him on a coaching course? Yeah, so he could be someone that we could look to keep at the club potentially. So yeah, it's not the best, is it? It's not the best. We have what do we have? So performance analysts that we can get in. We have no scouting network whatsoever, so we can get a director of football, a chief scout, and two scouts. So I'll need to look to do that, and we can get an extra physio and 2 sports scientists in, so we'll need to look to do that as well. So let's go and have a look at the competitions. Now, we've seen here mid-table, 4th round, and be competitive in the Betfred. I'm not sure if the Caramel Wafer Cup is still a thing, or is that what the Betfred Cup is, maybe? Oh, that's the League Cup, isn't it? So anyway, we'll see as we go here. The schedule, we have a few friendlies, and the League Cup, which we will, I think what we'll do is we'll use the League Cup group stage basically as extended friendlies, and then we'll get the championship season underway. So I think what we'll do is we'll come back for the start of the championship season against Partick Thistle and Kilmarnock. That will be I think where our season starts proper, doesn't it? And at the end of the transfer window. Oh no, it's not, because it's July. So we haven't got much time here. So, oh no, we're June 28th. So we've got about a month for me to try and weave some magic here. That's what I wanted to say at the top. This series will run Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So that is when this will be on. But as I said, if you've enjoyed this, if you're looking forward to the series, make sure you hit thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you next time with hopefully a few transfers, a little bit of wheeling, dealing done. Hopefully Celtic or Rangers as a senior affiliate. And we'll get the Impossible Dream underway at away to Partick Thistle and at home to Kilmarnock. Take care.